Right, okay. Safe ground then. Let's start with team news. Any injury concerns at all?
One or two knocks from the other night, but we won't know until, it's very early in the morning, and they're not in till 2 o'clock today. We've given them a morning off, an extra morning off. And then we'll work them lightly this afternoon and then put them into bed. We'll take them to a hotel tonight. And 3-game week, try and prepare. Them physically as much as anything else, and that means making sure they get good rest.
So potentially you could have a full squad.
Potentially we could have a full squad. Potentially we could have 1 or 2 changes as well if 1 or 2 knocks are as serious or not as serious as we think.
Can you say who they're to?
No, not at the moment.
Matt Phillips, obviously
Yeah.
he made his return, came off the bench on Tuesday night. Could we see him back?
Yeah, I'm hoping Matty will be available to start. Again, he's one of the ones that we have to have a look at and see if he's right, and if he's feeling good and they're all happy with the injury, then he's got a great chance of starting tomorrow.
How much have you missed him over the past few weeks? Just how important is he to your side?
No, he's important because he gives us that little bit more pace down the sides of the pitch, which we want. And obviously the stats show that he's created lots of chances for us, and he's got a good return on his goals as well. He's been a big miss for us, but having said that, the players who have played and the team that have been put out over the past few weeks they've all had to go, and they all do their best, and that's all you can ask.
He has had a lot of praise this season. He cost you £5 million in the summer, is it?
5 million, was it?
That's
It was a
what I
bit
read.
less than that.
Is it?
Yeah, go on.
How much did he cost you?
A little bit less than that.
Was he a bargain?
He's been fantastic for us, and we've been very, very pleased. And I still think there's lots more to come from Matty. But no, he's been a very, very good signing for us. He's a good kid, good person around the place.
So you did have that defeat at Watford on Tuesday night. How disappointing was that, considering sort of the performance you put in against Manchester United on the Saturday?
Every game in the Premiership is a tough game. Every team that you face is going to be a challenge, and Watford were a challenge. Southampton will be the same tomorrow. I think Southampton, if you look at them and what they've got, they've a fantastic model for a lot of clubs in the Premier League. They bring young players through. They work very, very hard on bringing the young players through. Their recruitment department has been exceptional over the years. And they are a top 10 team, and it's going to be a tough game for us. They've got some outstanding players, and players that you look at and you think they certainly could improve most teams in the Premiership.
You talked about sort of giving your players plenty of rest and looking after them ahead of this game. And also you mentioned on Tuesday that some of them might have been a bit tired from Saturday. Is that the risk when you've got such a small squad that it is tougher for them?
Well, I don't think it's just physically. I just think it's the mental side of it as well that you've got to today, in today's modern world. I think that you have to contend with. So it's trying to take all those aspects into consideration before you pick your team. But I personally don't see no reason why players shouldn't play 3 games in a week. I really don't. As long as the preparation is correct from our side and from their side as well. It should marry together and be able to produce a performance from players who are they're not just good footballers, but they're top athletes now as well.
And the fact that you are dealing with the small squad, that you can't make as many changes as others, do you think that perhaps the team deserves more credit this season for what they've done?
The team deserves a lot of credit for what we've done this year, irrespective of what goes on. But you still want more, and you want more, and you want more, and you want to push them and drive them to get more. And that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping that we get a performance from every game now until the end of the season, and try and gain as many points as we can as well.
Yeah, I guess that's been a thing recently, is the consistency. So the first couple of months of this year, the consistently turning out the results. It's dipped a bit. What do you need to do to get that consistency back?
No, I know where we are. I think everybody at the club knows where we are. We on our day, we can give anybody and everyone a game. If we're not on our game 110%, then we fall a little bit short. But that's like most of the teams outside the top 6. So I don't think it's an inconsistency. I think it's just the level that we're at, and you know, we have to keep driving the players, and the players have to keep driving themselves to get up to that pitch where we can get results, and that for us has to be a collective aim rather than an individual aim. We have to do it as a team, maybe more than most teams.
How important is it to try and get a result against Southampton? They're 7 points behind you. They've got 2 games in hand, though. So to keep that gap, to keep hold of that 8th place, how important is it?
Yeah, it's the next game. It's an home game. Our home form has been, you know, pretty good this year. So, you know, it's important for us to put in a performance, and fingers crossed we'll get the result that we want and that everybody wants.
Is that, I know you kind of haven't looked so much at the league position, and you've been reluctant to sort of talk
to me about the league position at the end of the year, and then I'll give you a good answer on it.
And in terms of Southampton, they've got a few potential injury problems. Gabbiadini could be one of them. How much of a threat is he if he plays?
Well, looking at him, he's been a smashing signing. He looks as though he knows where the goal is, and yeah, as I've said before, their recruitment has been exceptional. Southampton's in lots of respect. If you have a look at the players that they've brought in, and then whether it's through the system or whether they've bought and then sold again, or they've bought and kept them there, it's been very, very good, and they're a real good example to every club in the Premier League on how to run, you know, a football club.
Are you finding there's a different kind of pressure now when when the team's been battling against relegation, when they've really had that fight, it's quite easy to motivate the players. Is there now a different
Quite
pressure?
Easy. No, I think there's a different aims now. I think once you know, you get past that point where you can see yourself being safe, then there's different aims, and we have got different aims, and we certainly are pushing the players to get to those aims and as quickly as we possibly can. And then if you achieve it, you're after the next, and you're after the next, and you're after the next. I don't think you can level yourself out. I think it's very, very important that people understand and recognise that we as a group, you know, we want to win every game. We want to go out there and perform in every game and try and win every game. And I think that's been shown really against Arsenal and Man United. You know, the players haven't put their flip-flops on yet.
And I know we're not talking about where you are in the league right now, but in terms of where you finish at the end of the season, could that be important in terms of attracting players in the summer? Well,
I think it helps. I don't think it's everything. I think money still is the main reason why most of the players and agents want to move, but it helps certainly.
Are you well on your way to having your wish list completed in terms of who you want to bring in?
Well, I think we know what we want. Whether we can get it or get the players or fill those slots with the players that we want is another thing. And the important thing at this football club, it's not just getting good players in, it's getting good characters in and the right type of players. That's what we want. We want the right type of players. We want people to come in and work as hard as the players who have been here are doing, and give us a little bit more quality. And to try and find them, there's such a small pool now that we're fishing in, that it can be very, very difficult, very draining and very difficult. But you know, I've been in this position before, and you've got to do your best to try and get the best that you can afford.
You've been linked with Wilfred Bonny amongst others. Is a striker a key target for you come the summer? We want, you know, at least 5 or 6 players to come in and improve the club. And that's the aim. It's not just one position. I think we need to keep pushing on. I think there's definitely areas that we have to strengthen. And you know, that's all over the pitch. It's not just one place.